Remember, every time we say yes to something, we're saying no to something else. So I get the temptation. I get the urge to, oh my goodness, this is a great case. I really have no idea what I'm doing with it, but let me go ahead and take it and figure out the rest later. And what I would say is over the 20 plus years that we've been in practice, resist that urge, resist that temptation, and stick with what you really want to know, do, like, and prefer, because you'll get better. People will remember you better, and people will see you as a particular specialized expert in that particular area.
Welcome back to Center Stage Podcast. My name is Danny Decker, and I'm really excited today. We have a really fun conversation with a friend, Mo ElDeiry, who is the founder of an estate planning law firm in Florida, and also of a really cool group called FLN Global, which is a worldwide network of highly skilled and well-qualified attorneys. So Mo, my friend, welcome to Center Stage.
Great to be here, Danny. I've been looking forward to this opportunity for several weeks. So really big thanks to you and the rest of your team for inviting me on to this Center Stage podcast.
Yeah, it's great to have you, Mo. So let's start here. Whenever we do interview an attorney who has built a firm, I always like to start there for a moment, just because, listen, I'm not an attorney, but you are, and our audience is primarily attorneys. And so I always love to kind of create that connection point. So do just tell us briefly about the law firm.
Okay, so our law firm right now is ElDeiry and ElDeiry. It is my wife and I. It has been around for many years, and we predominantly practice in the area of probate and estate planning. Our special niche is estate planning for business owners, mainly because a lot of business owners take for granted that their documents do need to be in place to perpetuate their lifestyle, perpetuate their living in the event that they become either disabled or pass on. So that's kind of a little bit of a niche, but mostly in the area of probate, estate planning, and in that realm.
How did you guys land on that niche, and specifically sort of the specific focus on estate planning and probate for business owners? Like, how did you land on that?
Well, great question, actually. I guess over time, when the firm really first started many years ago, we did a handful of different areas of law. And as we were raising our family and building our business and so on, we began to realize something that I think every attorney realizes at some point in his or her career. And that is, as we've all heard this expression before, the riches are in the niches. So the sooner you start really focusing on what you want to do and how you want to do it and the way you want to present those legal services, it really makes a big difference. So I guess over time, we felt this was our bread and butter in terms of what we wanted to be able to provide in terms of legal services for our clients. Now, for the business owner parts, I think that came about several years ago when we began to compare notes with a lot of business owners who either were in partnerships or were solos and really hadn't and were the primary breadwinners of their families. So a lot of the income from their family depended on their particular business. They had not really given a lot of thought to how, when, and why they needed to have their documents and their systems and their procedures in place in the event of disability or death.
That makes so much sense. Can you talk a little bit about, I don't know, maybe I'll put it this way, why it's better, easier, more profitable to operate a firm with a very focused niche, whether that's from a marketing perspective, maybe it's easier to get clients, maybe the operations are easier to streamline, maybe something else. Let's just talk about why that's better and why you guys, continue to do that.
All of the above, Danny. I would say yes, in terms of a marketing and niche, people do not have unlimited ability to remember everything. So I tell people constantly and routinely, be known for what you want to be known for. And that's really critical. So when you niche and people can remember that you do probate and estate planning, it's a lot easier for them to remember that versus the kitchen sink of areas of practice that you may or may not want to offer them. So that's on a marketing perspective. On a logistical operating segment, it's really important because it creates efficiency. And it is impossible for us to be a master of all the areas of practice. So when you really get to focus on the areas of practice that you really like and enjoy and want to offer to your clients, it makes a big difference. So when I'm out there in the community and I see attorneys that are just getting started and so on, and they'll mention three, four, five different areas of practice, but it's just them and one assistant, you can tell they haven't figured that out yet. And all of us kind of go through that process where how and when do we pick and choose what area of practice we really want to be a part of.
Well, how would you, and I realize I'm putting you on the spot here a little bit, but and part of this is because, from a marketing perspective, which is what we do all day, every day, I can't more strongly agree with you that the more you can focus on a specific niche so that you can be known for something specific, like certainly the easier it becomes to market. And I think, we have a lot of listeners to this podcast who are maybe a little bit more in the generalist spot, right? And you've probably heard the expression door law, right? And it's scary it can be scary it can feel like you are closing the door to all of these potential, clients' cases by focusing in on a specific niche. One of the things I'll often encourage people is listen, market to the niche, right? But that doesn't mean you have to say no. If somebody shows up at your door and asks for help, early on in something else and you need the cash flow, sure, take it. But really what you should be doing is be building your marketing, your brand, your website, your reputation towards the clients that you really want to attract. So would you have any words of advice for a firm that's maybe starting to think about choosing a niche and focusing on a niche, but they haven't pulled the trigger yet? Like where would you tell them to start?
Every day, every day, Danny, when they get up and they listen and learn and behave in a particular way, ask the question all the time, what do I really want to be doing? Over and over and over again. And that, when you do that regularly and repeatedly and so on, you'll start to feel and get the idea that, okay, this is the area of practice that I want to be in. And when that happens, then a light will go off. And then because remember, every time we say yes to something, we're saying no to something else. So I get the temptation. I get the urge to, oh my goodness, this is a great case. I really have no idea what I'm doing with it, but let me go ahead and take it and figure out the rest later. And what I would say is over the 20 plus years that we've been in practice, resist that urge, resist that temptation, and stick with what you really want to know, do, like, and prefer, because you'll get better. People will remember you better, and people will see you as a particular specialized expert in that particular area. Because I use this example in our FLN Global organization oftentimes, where I say to people, how many of you would go to your orthopedic if you needed to have a tooth pulled? Or how many of you would have would go to your orthodontist if you broke the leg? They're all medical providers. But let's be honest, the consumers are really looking for people that are niched and well qualified in particular areas of law, so it makes a difference.
Love it. Love it. That's awesome. Okay, so let's transition a little bit. So you built this law firm. You guys have been tremendously successful over the years, and now you've launched something new, correct? Which is FLN Global.
Yes. So what's interesting, Danny, is that I've been a member of the Florida Bar since 1997. And what happened is back in 2010, I embarked on this wild, crazy, ambitious idea of creating this outstanding network of attorneys and professionals in different areas of law. And I felt the need, I felt the urge, I felt a calling in that, okay, well, listen, I took a look at our case list and I realized undoubtedly that our best cases came from other attorneys in different areas of practice and our existing clients. And then I realized I got a finite amount of time left on the planet. And I wanted to really spend and invest that time with attorneys in different areas of practice where we could build and develop these valuable connections, where we not only learn from each other so that we could spot issues in different areas of practice, we would get business referrals, we would get business opportunities. But honestly, Danny, one of the most compelling and amazing things that has happened during this journey is that it's great to be a resource so that when your clients ask you for other areas of law that you don't do, you can quickly and efficiently and confidently and comfortably, Danny, refer them without hesitation and without reservation. And that's what's made a really, really big difference. So I was bothered, I was frustrated, I was annoyed until one day I ripped the band-aid off and I'm like, that's it. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to proceed in this crazy, ambitious idea. And I'm going to start this lawyers networking group. And we're going to build it, step by step, chunk by chunk, and really give an opportunity to attorneys to really become better by networking and connecting. And that's really the ultimate mission, goal, and objective of the entire process.
So how is FLN different from, let's say, a BNI or a local chamber of commerce?
Well, they are all wonderful. In fact, I'm always very, very impressed anytime FLN is mentioned in the same sentence with BNI, Rotary, Toastmasters, Chamber of Commerce, any of those. I love it. But FLN was specifically designed to be created by attorneys for attorneys. So we don't have anything against the butcher and the baker and the candlestick maker in all different areas that we can network in. But I really wanted to create an environment where attorneys could connect with each other and speak that same language and speak the same concepts and so on. Because when we build those connections, Danny, with attorneys in different areas of practice, they are one of the best referral sources for all of the great cases and opportunities of clients that we get to help.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. So from a like a structural perspective, is this a week is this a weekly meeting? Is this a monthly meeting? Like what does it actually
Okay,
look like to be a member?
great question. All right, so our strategy is as follows. Number one, FLN Global is actively becoming, I say, actively becoming a worldwide network of highly skilled and well-qualified attorneys in each area of practice throughout the globe. Each FLN legal member must have at least 5 years of experience as a licensed attorney and must be well versed and knowledgeable in his or her designated area of practice. So that accomplishes two things. Number one, the attorneys that get involved with FLN Global are skilled, qualified, and experienced. And number two, we already know they've been around the block 2, 3, 4 times and have a book of business, a clientele that they can refer out as well. And then in our structure, in our particular FLN chapters, we actually take up to 3 attorneys in each area of practice in each particular chapter. And we have found over the years this provides great diversity while still maintaining exclusivity. And Danny, the funniest thing will happen is that people that are not as familiar with FLN Global will come to me and say, oh, but why do you have to take other attorneys in my area of practice? I mean, I should be good enough to handle all of the cases that come in this particular area of practice. And I say, well, because you, believe it or not, will actually learn so much more from the attorneys that are in the same area of practice with you than you will from worrying about competing with them.
Love that.
And that really helps a lot. So it's a lot more of a collaborative environment versus trying to elbow people out or box them out in terms of getting cases or business opportunities.
So I know you guys are you got your start in South Florida. Are
Yes.
you still primarily focused on South Florida, or are there chapters elsewhere in the country?
Well, here's the scoop, Danny. So what happened was, is the concept, has been growing since 2010 throughout Southeast Florida, and we now have a total of over a dozen chapters in the Southeast Florida corridor, as far north as West Palm Beach and as far south as South Miami. And now we've embarked on a new program where we're going to be looking for FLN business partners to start and implement and create FLN chapters in their local communities. So this concept that we're rolling out now by looking for business partners is that we're looking for other law firm owners that are looking to build and grow their professional network and their community to be able to come aboard, raise their hand, and say, yes, I think I'd like to learn more about creating an FLN chapter in our community. And we're going to be focusing now over the next 6 to 8, 9, 12 months on building chapters in Orlando, Tampa, and Jacksonville. And then after that, the sky's the limit, Danny. I mean, right now we can take people in up to like 35 different states, but for purposes of marketing and promoting the concept, we're going to try and focus on the Florida community first, get that settled in, and then we'll start branching out as early as this time next year.
So as you're listening to this, if your law firm is located in South Florida, join a chapter. And if not, and this sounds like something you want to be a part of, reach out to Mo, and perhaps there's an opportunity to start a chapter, in your community. So love it. And Mo, this is an awesome conversation. One of the things we really believe at Spotlight Marketing and Branding, even though we are a marketing agency and we do a lot of digital marketing, we really believe that the best clients typically do come from referral. And so one of the things that we do is focus a lot on using digital marketing tools, not just to generate brand new cold leads, but to maintain those referral relationships. And we do things like, most law firms have built a list, right? A list of former clients, referral sources, current clients. And we really believe in email marketing, for example, to keep those people connected. But then we also do things like take that list and build a retargeting audience so that not only are those people seeing you once a month when they visit, BNI or FLN Global, or when you call them, but also when they jump on Instagram, when they jump on Facebook, when they jump on LinkedIn, they're seeing that content pushed in front of them, right? Because as you said, it really comes down to remembering and also knowing what a good referral looks like. I really believe that most law firms actually have a whole lot more people that are willing to refer to them than actually do. And the reason for that gap is because honestly, it's hard to remember who you want to refer to and what they do. So we really believe that it's important to stay top of mind and keep reminding people what it is that you do.
Yes. Danny, I remember many, many years ago, one of the messages that I learned from Spotlight Branding, and I had wholeheartedly subscribed to this, is that how often are you keeping in touch with the people you know? I mean, too often we see our colleagues and attorneys spending time trying to connect with people they don't know, and they leave the most important people that they already know neglected. So I subscribed immediately to Spotlight's theory and branding and concept when you guys were doing the regular emails, when you were doing the digital marketing. And if you do nothing else but consistently communicate and connect with the people you already know, oh my goodness, the results will be extraordinary.
Yeah.
But too often we feel we have, you know what? I've done all of the hunting and the gathering I can do in this area. Let me try and go somewhere else. But the truth is, many of us rarely ever exhaust our current clientele and contacts and referral sources before we start branching out and looking elsewhere.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Love it. Okay, so Mo, this has been an awesome conversation. We probably need to do a part two of this, but I do want to leave you with one more question before we wrap up here, which is, you're obviously a big proponent of networking and the value of building relationships and referral relationships. So what do you say to the law firm owner who's introverted and really feels intimidated by getting out and networking and going to events like this? Any advice for them?
Honestly, Danny, I have found over the 15, 16 plus years now of doing this that we run across all kinds of different attorneys, some that are really gregarious and outgoing, some that are quiet and reserved. But what I really want to impress upon our listeners out there is that networking is not just about getting more business. And I tell people this in FLN Global all the time. We are not just about getting you more business. We are about getting you better business from better clients that come from better referral sources that create better experiences, that create a better law practice for you and your family and everything around you. So whether you're an extrovert or an introvert, take the first step. Go to a particular networking event or even raise your hand. We're starting to roll out a virtual concept in our FLN Global community, and you can be part of the pilot program of 20 people that we're looking to get on board, and we can kind of guide you and direct you and really counsel you on getting out there, because I want to kind of go out on the limb, Danny, and say the following, and that is that as attorneys, we have a fundamental duty and responsibility, and ethical, by the way, to be the best version of ourselves all the time. And the only ways that we can really continue to get better and improve and consistently be around is when we surround ourselves with other qualified and experienced attorneys who can educate, enlighten, and inform us on what they do. And I forgot, Danny, at the beginning, you asked me, how often do we meet? We meet once a month in our FLN chapters, and every single one of our FLN chapter meetings gives over 2.5 CLE credits, or I should say 2 CLE credits, and then another half for ethics and or technology. So we really, really created a very educational and informative environment that our members leave every single meeting with a lot more than they came in with. So that's always a very valuable aspect of the organization.
Fantastic. And for somebody who wants to get plugged in, wants to learn more, how do they do that?
It's easy. Just go to flnglobal.com, fill out the contact form, and then we can either insert you into one of our existing chapters, talk about some of the newer chapters that are being developed. And if you're really, really ready to lead, inspire, motivate, and captivate a group of attorneys in your local community, and you're a law firm owner, and you want to build a chapter in your neck of the woods to actually get you better client referrals from your legal connections, click on that button, that'll say FLN Business Partners. You'll learn more about that, and we'll get you a little bit more acclimated and understood about what we're looking for and how we're looking to get there.
Fantastic. Mo, thank you again for joining us. We really enjoyed the conversation, enjoyed sort of the wealth of expertise and experience that you bring to this. We'll have to get you back here for part 2 because I feel like there's a lot more we could get into. But thank you so much for joining us. We will be sure to link flnglobal.com in the show notes, and have a great day.
Thank you, Danny. I'm looking forward to it. Thanks.